Bodega, 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 alpha and omega. Siamese sailors sell celery sandwiches. Sawing-a-bada, serving platter.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
Did you want to try reading that line on the script there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just not warmed up yet. Shouldn't be long. Lay, detector test.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive today.
The marmot mangled my mushy pork pancake.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Surprise, surprise, we're back midweek. I know it doesn't happen too often, considering we missed a couple of Mondays. But yes, I must tell you, whenever the strategy group meets for F1, we meet for F1. In fact, we meet a little more often.
Far more often.
Far more often. The name is Kunal Shah and Rishi Kapoor, both on this side of the computer. You're on the other side of the listening. Inside Line F1 podcast with a fresh podcast midweek this week because we wanted to talk about the strategy group meeting. I'll tell you what the strategy group meeting is. Well, heads of all the teams meet FI. FI makes the rules for Formula 1 and racing. The strategy group, well, they own the teams and run the teams. So everybody comes together to make Formula 1 more entertaining,
Exciting?
overtake friendly.
I don't know what they do. They probably enjoy the coffee and they decide when to meet next. And the only thing they've agreed upon yet is to ban a change in helmet design.
Thank God. Not something which is very significant to racing, but still, well, if they agree on something, it's a great hurrah because they've reached the first clause in the agreement. Some teams are very unhappy with the meeting. Some teams are very happy with the meeting. What is the common thing that has come out of the meeting?
Well, I, for starters, am extremely unhappy with the composition of the group itself because they have the top 5 teams, the guys who get paid to race in Formula 1.
Yes.
And then the next best team, in this case being Force India.
Yes.
Okay, so there are 6 seats which are occupied by the teams, then 6 seats by the FIA and 6 seats by the FOM. So these 18 people come together and vote on how to make the sport better. Now the funny part here is A, the teams are not fully represented, and B, nobody has spoken to the fans on what the fan actually wants from the sport.
What does the fan want? Fan wants overtaking. Fan wants fast cars. Fan wants, controversies to a certain extent.
Yeah. And simple technology terms. I mean, today you have KERS and ERS and DRS and so many other things, you get confused.
Yes.
MGUK, MGUA.
They sound like universities. So, the problem still remains, are the tires going to be conserved? Because Pirelli said, if we have to supply so many tires, if they get to choose tires, we don't know if we can do that. Michelin said, okay, we'll do it, no problem, we got the money.
You know, I don't know, Rishi, because at the end of the day, the one thing the strategy group has agreed upon, is that A, we need tires to go racing, and B, we need wider rear tires, which is good in my view because that will help cars to go quicker.
What I don't understand is when the wide tires, start giving you great traction, the front end is still loose. We're still struggling for the front end grip because of dirty air. How's it going to work out?
Well, that's all down to aerodynamics, which A, hasn't been clarified and B, will never be clarified. Okay. But the one thing I agree with is at least what the strategy group met, the objective as to why they met. They want the cars to go at least 10 seconds quicker in the next couple of seasons, which is brilliant because that's when you know that the cars are being driven to the limit. I mean, look at it this way. Fernando Alonso, our good friend, who doesn't have much of racing to do these days, he spent time thinking about
where Formula 1 has gone wrong.
Yeah. He's turned around and said that A, we've gone in the wrong direction. B, we've gone slower in the last 10 years. Okay.
That's the same story of McLaren in the last 2 years. Wrong direction, slower.
Well, at least they've not gone reverse. Trust me. The sport has somewhere gone reverse.
Okay, but refueling to return. The big news is refueling. The refueling ban is going to go away. It's going to come back. Of course, it's going to make the cars faster. But is it cost effective? Is it going to be team friendly?
It's a catch-22 for you and I as very avid Formula 1 buffs. Refueling is a great tactical addition to our strategy.
Correct.
Suddenly you pit for 6 seconds, I pit for 12 seconds, and whatever comes in the way. But for new fans, no, absolute no. It's not what's needed because the fan is expecting overtaking to happen on the track. Here, what happens is because somebody's taken more fuel, he'll drive slow and he'll overtake in the pits. Okay. We anyways have overtaking based on tire strategy right now.
Correct.
So I'm not for refueling.
Refueling being banned and the fact that all the teams were on the same fuel load was the only unifying and common factor in Formula 1 right now, which is suddenly gone away.
Absolutely. And to add to that, the unsafe measures that come along the way.
The fires that come along the way.
Absolutely. And, given all the technology still, we saw what happened to Massa and his team in Singapore and what's happened to Jos Verstappen before and so many other drivers. Of course, they've come out unscathed. But why do you want to make the sport daredevilry by adding refueling to the whole situation?
Okay, the whole situation is also not answering how we are going to, get cars close to each other. Because when the cars come close to each other, the front end of the car, the car that is trailing in the slipstream, suddenly doesn't have the front end grip. The tires are getting dirty, etc., etc. That is still to be addressed.
Good point, because that, to me, the mechanical grip is most crucial, Rishi, to make sure that we have entertaining action on track.
But every change that we talk about is a technical change, is a regulation change, is a rules change. None of this actually makes the sport more popular.
Yes, absolutely. What we need is marketing-driven changes. Okay. Yes, a marketer could argue with me that, if the product is not proper, how can you go ahead and market the product? But hey, guess what? The product of Formula 1 has never been proper. We see rule changes every 4 to 5 years.
Has there been any focus on getting it back in the driver's hand with reducing those 22 buttons on the steering wheel and actually going on pure gut feel that if I have the grip, I will go for the overtaking move?
I wish they do that. I don't think that was discussed, or at least that's not public. But what is becoming public, again, which is very, very, very disturbing, is the whole concept of customer cars, is the whole concept of bringing a third car in, etc., which to me is where the future of Formula 1 lies or does not lie.
Quick instruction now, Kunal. What is a customer car and what is a constructor's car?
Okay. Very clearly put, a customer car is where you purchase technology from a manufacturer team.
For example, if I'm Lotus and if I don't have the money to make my own car, so I'll buy the chassis from McLaren, I'll buy the gearbox from McLaren, I'll take the engine, I'll put it all together. All I need is some aerodynamics on the car.
Yes, absolutely. So that becomes a customer car. Basis today's regulations, there are limits to what a team can purchase. Okay, which is why a Lotus buys a Mercedes engine. Okay, but going forward, you could actually buy the entire car, what we used to call a rolling chassis in the earlier years.
Correct.
From a manufacturer.
But Kunal, doesn't that makes things easy? I don't have an engine, I have some limited money, I just buy an engine from someone else, put it in my car and go racing.
It makes a lot of sense financially. Competitiveness wise, I don't know how good a solution this is. Because Williams has already complained this year that they don't know if they have the exact same engine as Mercedes. But so the same thing could happen then as well, that a customer team could end up purchasing technology but not get the latest technology. In which case they may not be able to compete with the team that they purchase from. Okay. And to me, that's what is a bit of a problem. I mean, you and I remember Jordan for its daredevilry. Force India has got podiums and, has got pole positions on their own might. Lotus still a few years back were winning despite their financial troubles.
This is all merit-based.
This is because they were building the entire car by themselves. Now suddenly you tell them that, hey, because you can't afford building a car by yourselves, you buy a car somebody else has built, is somewhere taking away their competitiveness as well.
So I don't understand what the strategy group is doing. They're just trying to make the top 5 happy. And they're also giving a message that if you have the money to run in F1, you only run in F1. If you don't have the money, then, you will be an uncompetitive car. You'll be competing with 4 other lower teams and you'll be having a championship of your own, which nobody cares about.
Yeah, I personally am very upset with the way the strategy group has handled the current situation. So they were actually going to meet to understand how to bring down costs, which hasn't happened. Bringing back refueling only adds to the cost. They were going to meet to understand how to distribute income more equally, which nobody spoke about.
Correct.
Okay. Here, in fact, they've turned around and said that, hey, if one of you drops off the grid, a Ferrari or a Mercedes or a Red Bull will run a third car, which will make up for the loss of, cars on the grid. So they basically tried to make themselves very important and make the midfield teams less important. The second thing they said is, hey, if you still want to be on the grid, you can choose to be a constructor and bleed money like you're currently doing. Or the only way out is you buy out a customer chassis from me. So it's basically not respecting all the efforts a Sauber has put in all these years to become who they are. I mean, today they are as legendary as probably a Williams. They may not have won as much, but they've been around for as long.
But somebody who's been around for very long and he's got a big mouth, much bigger than ours actually, is Eddie Irvine, and he's made a very valid point here, okay? And I really respect the guy for what he said. It's kind of funny, but he said, it's quite simple. When I go fishing, I don't like getting 300 fishes in a day. That's not going to be entertaining. If I get that one good fish in a day, one full day of fishing, I'm going to be very happy and excited about it. He's tried equating this to overtaking in Formula One. If it comes in too easy, which means it's not worth it. It's not because it's difficult. It comes in once in a while.
Correct.
So it's all right if you don't have a lot of overtaking versus this DRS and the curves and the urge, which is artificial.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I know what the answer is, and I know what you're going to say. But what comes to your mind when I say the words Hakkinen, Zonta, and Schumacher?
Oh God.
Yes, exactly. That's enough for a Formula One fan. Now, can you imagine had that move been made under a DRS zone?
Correct.
Would you have remembered, and would you have remembered God as many times?
I'll tell you what happens. Because Michael was behind Zonta and Zonta was a lap car, Michael and Hakkinen would have both got DRS. They would have both opened the flaps and it would have looked a little manufactured actually.
Absolutely. But going back to Eddie Jordan's point, okay, is a quick look back at the Monaco Grand Prix, which we spoke about in the podcast earlier as well. About Verstappen, about Hamilton. These guys were trying to make a battle out of nothing. Okay. The fact that they were battling made us happy. So even to a Formula One fan, as long as we are able to promise battles to them, they are okay if it doesn't yield in an overtake. Because even a good defense is fun to watch.
Yes, and if you're on the edge of your seat all the time and if the overtaking doesn't happen, you are enjoying it for longer.
Even more.
Which happens in MotoGP all the time, and that's why it's very entertaining. It doesn't need so many rule changes.
Absolutely. So all the strategy group has done is they've given you and me more dope to make fun of them in the sport.
And that's why we may make an extra podcast midweek. You and I should be in the strategy group.
Okay.
We'll plan better sandwiches.
And we'll bring back the grid girls, is it?
Oh, I love them. I miss them.
I'll tell you what they'll do next.
Yes.
They will ban the grid girls. Then when the viewership of the sport declines further, they'll bring back the grid girls to try and resurrect the sport's viewership.
You do understand when the grid girls are banned, you and I get new jobs. Let's make CVs in bikinis. Alright, Kunal Shah, Rishi Kapoor are now bowing out of this podcast. We have a lot of stuff to talk about pre-Canada. Yes, we'll be having the same tyre compounds. I don't know how it's going to yield out, but the history of Canada is quite rich and Hamilton loves that track. Rosberg needs a couple of very strong races to be mentally in the game. He's now just 10 points away. What is it going to look like? Rishi Kapoor, Kunal Shah get together for the Inside Line F1 podcast every week and sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
Man laughs.
What's up? It's Sierra, new member and ambassador for WW Weight Watchers Reimagined. Since joining, I feel healthier and more confident than ever. The new My WW Plus, our most holistic program ever, gives you more of what you need to lose weight, like tools to help boost your mindset, get you moving, and plan meals based on what you have on hand. Plus, over 300 zero-point foods you don't have to track. The new My WW Plus, more holistic, more personalized, more weight loss.
Join today with a limited time offer at WW.com.